Okay, so I made a video before this one on the exact same topic. I worked really hard on it, and it was all for naught. It was immediately struck with the copyright strike by YouTube. So instead of adding good music and clips or any kind of production value to this video to make it more interesting, I'm just gonna make it boring as fuck, because apparently that is what YouTube wants me to do. The last video was entertaining, but I guess fair use law means nothing to YouTube. So, let's try to keep this short because the last video was over 20 minutes and it took me 4 hours to edit and it's fucking gone in the void. So, oof. Alright, so my theory is that in the upcoming Star Wars movie, Rey will be confirmed to be Shmi Skywalker from Episode 1. Now you may ask, are you drunk? Are you stupid? Well, let me explain myself. About a year ago, I saw a short Reddit post where someone suggested, hey, what if there was time travel in Star Wars, and what if Rey turned into Shmi? Now, I don't particularly like time travel in movies because I think it's lazy writing, but hey, Disney writers are fucking bad, so they probably need time travel to get some of the kinks out, you know? So, first I'll tell you the theory, then I'll explain why this fixes all the issues with Rey as a character. Because from a writing perspective, her character is an empty shell that doesn't fit into the story one bit. You may have heard, she's a Mary Sue. And if you don't know what a Mary Sue is, Google it. Okay, so the theory starts in episode 1. We meet Shmi and Anakin on Tatooine. Qui-Gon asks Shmi, who's Anakin's father? And she says to him, he has no father, and she's not sure how it happened, but Anakin was born without a father, making him the first and only Skywalker at this point. And remember, Episode 9, the new movie, is titled The Rise of Skywalker. So, Skywalker's birth is the rise of Skywalker. What do you know? So, let's get some background stuff out of the way, because it helps with the theory, alright? So, in the 25th issue of the ongoing Vader comic, it is shown that the Emperor manipulated the Force around Shmi to create the Chosen One, Anakin. After succeeding in turning the Chosen One to the dark side, the Emperor was disappointed because Anakin, who is now Vader, would never be able to reach his potential because of his dependence on his suit and not being able to wield the Force to its fullest because of his cybernetic limbs. This is I think all of that I just said is canon. It's true to the story. We know this from books. We know Palpatine's views on Darth Vader through the comics and through books. So let's get to more theory crafting. So I believe that Palpatine started experimenting on creating a new Chosen One using a mixture of Sith alchemy and cloning, which is something he was very interested in. You know, he liked clones. We know from the expanded canon, Palpatine had secret laboratories on several different planets. And it was confirmed in the Battlefront video game that one of those laboratories was located on Jakku, Rey's homeworld. So I think that he created Rey in this lab from Anakin's DNA, from the Chosen One's DNA. I theorize that the act of cloning a Jedi creates a Force link to that Jedi's past in the DNA of the new clone, which would explain Rey's insane ability to use the Force without going through any kind of training. It also explains why she has a connection to Anakin's lightsaber. I think Anakin's memories are embedded in her DNA, and things that Jedi train years to accomplish, she can just do on an instinctual level because of this. Now here comes the interesting part that takes us from Episode 6, Return of the Jedi, up until the upcoming film. Alright, so The Force Awakens takes place 30 years after Return of the Jedi. In The Force Awakens, Rey is 19 years old. flashback to her being abandoned on Jakku was when she was around the age of, let's say, 9 years. 9 years old. By that time, Palpatine had, he would have already been dead. Um, so how was she created if he had already been dead for 11 years? I theorize that she was already born during the events of the original trilogy. Palpatine just kept her in a clone growing vat until she was about 9 years old. Um, at that point, Luke turns himself over to Vader in Episode 6, and Palpatine puts his experiment on Rey on hold, freezing her, freezing 9-year-old Rey in a cryo sleep of some kind that keeps her from aging in order to travel to the second Death Star to deal with Luke. Luke defeats Palpatine, obviously. We fast forward 11 years back to the laboratory on Jakku, where 9-year-old Rey, is still 9 years old and is frozen in a cryo sleep of some kind. And I'm pretty sure two people, male and female, discover this laboratory and wakes Rey from her cryo sleep. Young Rey believes this person, or obviously two people, are her parents, but she doesn't remember their faces because they promptly abandon her on the planet. We'll see them again in Episode 9 because their ship is in the trailer. Um, we know what happens from then on, so let's skip to the new movie and the theory I have about that, um, which turns her into Shmi and implements time travel. I think that in Episode 9 she defeats Ben Solo, Kylo Ren, in the ruins of the second Death Star after both of them are unknowingly drawn to it by Palpatine's Force Ghost. Because we know Palpatine's going to be in the new movie. The Death Star, the ruins of the Death Star are going to be a location. So, after her fight with Ben, and she defeats Ben, Palpatine reveals himself and explains how he created her and he has been guiding her back to him all this time. She refuses to join him. Palpatine, furious at her refusal, attacks her with the Force. Now, we know that it's now canon Force ghosts can interact with the physical plane. We saw Yoda in Episode 8 summon a lightning bolt from the sky to burn the Jedi tree. So, yeah, Force ghosts can be pretty powerful. Palpatine, he's pretty powerful to begin with. Palpatine as a Force ghost, that's a strong boy right there. So the only way for Rey to defeat him is to absorb a huge amount of the Force into herself to create a Force blast. Because she is a chosen one, created from the DNA of a chosen one at least, she is able to absorb more Force than any other being ever has. The blast destroys Palpatine, but it is so powerful that it sends her back in time. She awakens 9 years before the events of Episode 1, without her memories and without the ability to use the Force. At this time in the story, Palpatine and his master Plagueis feel this disturbance and are drawn to Rey, who has now taken the name Shmi, because she can't remember her own name. Palpatine, who was very interested in the Chosen One prophecy, recognizes that Shmi has a well of Force energy within her, but she cannot manipulate it or even feel it. She doesn't know that she's this nexus of the Force, or she has this nexus of the Force inside of her. So, recognizing that she is a vessel for the Force, Palpatine manipulates the midi-chlorians with her body and creates the Chosen One, Anakin, thus giving rise to the first Skywalker and creating a never-ending cycle. After thinking about this theory, I rewatched Episode 8, The Last Jedi, and realized something interesting about the entire dark side cave scene with Rey that pertains kinda to this theory. I'm gonna be reaching, obviously, this is a huge reach, but it makes sense. The more I analyze this scene, the more it makes sense. So in the scene, she is shown a mirror. Now she's currently in her character development, what little of it there is, she's looking for answers about her past. But anyways, so she's shown a mirror. Initially, obviously, she's looking straight forward into the mirror, kind of symbolizing what, and it shows her reflection, kind of symbolizing what all people see in their future, which is just kind of more of themselves, more of the same, but trying to look past. But she then turns around to see clones of herself that repeat all the actions she takes. She snaps her fingers, and all the clones snap their fingers. The act of turning around symbolizes her looking to her past. Her past is littered with repeats of her present actions, surrounded by darkness. She is stuck in a cycle. She says to herself, I should have felt trapped or panicked, but I didn't. This didn't go on forever. I knew it was leading somewhere. In these thoughts, she is attempting to move forwards, but she's moving in the wrong direction. She's still looking backwards instead of forwards. All her actions and questions lead to the past. Even if she looks forwards, she's looking at the past because it's a mirror. It doesn't matter what action she takes or what she hopes for in the future, nothing will change. This makes her into one of the most tragic characters in Star Wars, if this theory is kind of true. She then asks the mirror to show her her parents. The mirror shows two dark silhouettes approaching and then merging into one being, which is revealed to be her. I think these two beings approaching the mirror are Palpatine and Anakin Skywalker. Palpatine created her using Anakin's DNA. The only reason I love this theory so much is because it fixes the flaws in her character. Now, I know people will have issues with Rey becoming Shmi. Shmi is a character with no backstory and is not very interesting at her core. But I ask those people, what is Rey? Seriously, up to this point, she's been nothing in the story but a Mary Sue. She has no backstory, no connection to the to the overall universe at all. Yet she's shown to have connections to like to Anakin's Skywalker, fucking hell, Anakin's lightsaber, but without any explanation. We need answers. We need explanation, and man, she she's just such a blank character. We've gone through two whole movies, and she's had little development. She still has no backstory. They threw a chance to create a relationship with a character important to the Star Wars universe, Luke. They threw that master student relationship off the cliff. They could have developed her into something people would care about, but instead she's still this empty vessel nobody cares about, which I want desperately to care about her character. But they haven't given us anything to grasp onto, and I think that this theory would fix that. Um, it would make her into a character that is connected to the entire story. I desperately want to like Rey as a character, but if her flaws are not fixed, this can't happen. Which is why I fucking hate the current popular theory. The main theory right now that I've been seeing online is that because Episode 9, the new movie, is titled The Rise of Skywalker, that means that Rey, by the end of the movie, will lead a new order of Jedi, which will be renamed as Skywalkers. That is just so stupid. That's so fucking stupid. Even the marketing, from a marketing perspective, that would be dumb because everyone knows what a Jedi is, and to rebrand that just it confuses casual fans. It confuses people. I just want Rey's character to have meaning, and I feel like this is the simplest way to do that. Like I said, time travel is an easy fix for bad writing. Do it. I know I don't want to see it in Star Wars, but if you got to fix the bad writing mistakes, time travel that shit up. So yeah, if you're still here at the end of the video for some reason, consider leaving a dislike. I mean, comment on if I should do more videos like this. I enjoy character analysis. It was very hard for me not to just rant about how terrible the writers are at Disney for like an hour or two. I'll probably not upload for another 6 months just because life and stuff. So yeah, thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you.